All right, this is Jaffe. Welcome back to part 2 of my screencast here, showing how to turn a website into a website. That makes sense, really. So in the last screencast, we went ahead and took this current website, and we took the images out of it that we needed, and I actually placed them in a images folder, but we won't be using those at all today. Today we're actually just going to code the HTML. This is basically all the text and everything. So we're going to get started with that. I've got an image of the website that's current right here so that I can look at it as I'm going through Dreamweaver. Excuse me. If you don't have Dreamweaver, you can do the same thing on Notepad++. You can download it, it's free. This is what it looks like. I've actually got a different color background and color coding, which you can take care of in your settings menu style configurator, and you can change the default styling of it. I just like to have that dark background. But basically you can run this so that you can have access to your files and everything just like you would in Dreamweaver, only it's in Notepad++. Of course, you can do this in Notepad as well, but Notepad++ has so many other features and it's free. So anyway, moving on. So in my folder, I just need to create a new file, and this is the only file we're going to concentrate on at this point. We just need the HTML. We're not going to look at any styling. We're not going to look at images, just the HTML. So I'm going to create a new file. This is so much easier, but if you know, to have Dreamweaver do it for you. But if you want, you just need to type all that stuff out into your index. So I'm going to rename the title Boise Community, if I could spell. And there it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this in this folder. I'm going to save it as an index file. And you'll see there now that we have the index.html. And if I open up Notepad++, you'll see it right there. And double click on it, and there it is. So you can follow along. So we're not going to mess with anything in the header at this point. We don't need any styling. We don't need anything like that. All we're going to do is work our way down from the top to the bottom of the website, figuring exactly what we need. We are going to be using some HTML5 tags in this. So let's get started. First things first, if you look at the whole website, we have the background, and then we have this wrapper that holds all of our information. So we do need a page wrap. So I'm going to create a div ID of page wrap. Now I have a habit of naming the commenting the end of my tags. It's a good habit to get into because once you get a lot of div IDs and stuff, and you'll see a bunch of divs down at the bottom, you don't know what they belong to. Now you do. So it's a good idea to get into that habit. Comment them out. So we have our page wrap. Now inside of our wrapper, we need a header. So the header is just going to include, let's see here. The header is just going to include this area here. So we have our title, and we're going to have our navigation menu. So if we go back into here, we're going to put in a header. This is an HTML5 tag, and we're going to close that. And in our header, we need our title. So this is going to be an H1 tag, and it's going to say Boise Community Concerts. And that is this right here. And now we need our nav menu. So in the header, we're going to create one more HTML5 tag. It's called the nav tag. And in that, we're going to create an unordered list. And in the unordered list, we're going to create a list item, and it's going to be a link because obviously we need to link to other pages. So we're just going to put in a hash there so it doesn't actually go anywhere, because we don't need it to go anywhere right now. We're just building the base HTML. And we're going to call this home and close that out. Now at this point what we need to do is, I'm just going to copy this, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lists. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is the first one. So let's go back and see what we need it to say. The second one is going to be purchase here, and upcoming concerts. Contact. Let's do contact us. And directions. And save. So that takes care of our header. So we can move out of that. And let's go here. This is going to be our featured artist is shown here. So we're going to make this just a div ID of a featured artist. So we're going to put that in div ID featured. And we'll just put featured artist in here so that we know what's going to be coming up next. Alright, so as you recall in the last screencast, I pulled this out as its own image. So in order to put this in here, I'm going to create its own sidebar. The reason is because I know later on I'm going to actually put some information in that sidebar. So we are going to put that in first. So create a new div ID. And I'm going to call this sidebar 1. And we'll comment that out. And in here, we'll just put that the logo is going in there. And actually, we'll put Boise Community. There we go. Good for SEO. And let's see, moving over, we have our main content here. So we're going to create a new div with that. So div, let's call it main content, and we'll end that. I think you get the point of what's going on here. It's pretty simple. We're just kind of working our way down, top left to the bottom. And the next thing we need here is our other sidebar. So I'm actually just going to copy that, put that in here, and change this to sidebar 2 and sidebar 2. And we're going to put upcoming. Actually, we'll put brochure, because we have the brochure in there. Excellent. So now we have our main content. Let's actually put some stuff in the main content, and I should have done that before. That's alright. I got ahead of myself. So we're going to put H2 tag. We're working our way down. We've got an H1 tag up here, so H2. And we'll just put celebrating our 80th year. Actually, it's going to be their 81st year, but that's okay. So we'll put H2, and celebrating our 81st year. And then we have our introductory paragraph. So let's put that, but we're going to put a class there because we're going to style it by itself. So we're going to put a p class equals intro. And we could usually just put some lorem ipsum in here. I actually have the text that they're going to want, so I'm going to put that in there for them. Anyway, let's see. So moving on, we've got our introductory paragraph information here. So in the sidebar 2, we are going to need to put some information here. So let's actually just take this out. We're going to put an H3 tag in here. And we're going to put in upcoming concerts. Right there. And in fact, we know it's going to be a link, so let's make it one. And we'll close that out there. And let's see here. We need our brochure image. I'm not sure how I want to do that yet, so I'm right now just going to create a div ID called brochure. And we'll see if that's what I want to do or not. And for the most part, that is it. That's everything. I'm actually going to add some more information. I'm going to add a footer down here that's going to give their tagline and their copyright information. So that's going to be outside of the page wrap. So we'll put in footer, which is an HTML5 tag. And I am going to give this a class of group. Now, this doesn't make any sense right now, but it will when we get into the CSS. We're going to create a div ID down here of our copy. Of a quote. This is going to be their tagline. And we'll put, I don't know what their tagline is, I've never asked, so we'll just put Boise loves music. And then I'll get that information from them later. I'm not going to put an end to this div tag because these two are just going to stay right next to each other. So I'm not going to be putting a bunch of information in there. So we're going to put the copyright symbol in here, which is and copy. And we're going to put, oh, well, I have to write that, sorry, copy. And then we put in the copyright symbol and copy, Boise Community Concerts 2011, and close that div tag out. So that is everything on our site. If we go into Notepad++, you can see that it's all in there. So let's try this in Firefox. So we're going to go ahead and click there. And there it is. This is what the HTML looks like. This is the information on the website. This is the stuff that we need to know. So that's it. That's our HTML. And next screencast, we're going to do some styling on this sucker. And we'll see you in the next screencast. Thanks.